up, guys? EJ here, back with another video. And today I'm going to be doing my top 10 films of 2017. So yeah, last month I gave you my long-awaited top 10 list of 2016, and figured I'd continue on with my top 10 lists with my top 10 of 2017, and then when I finish getting all my films from 2018, I'll bring you that top 10 list as well. So yeah, happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you in these trying times. So anyway, let's get into it. Counting down as always. Up first at number 10, we have Detroit. Yeah, sort of an underrated film directed by Catherine Bigelow. Yeah, great movie starring John Boyega, Anthony Mackie, set during the Detroit riots in 1967. A bunch of policemen sort of answer a domestic disturbance call, and all hell breaks loose as they question the young people sort of just minding their own business. I think they're accused of shooting at cops from a distance, from what I remember. Really harrowing film. Things really spiral out of control quickly. The young white kid who plays the main officer, he's really good in this film. Not a good character, but a really good performance. Yeah, I thought Detroit was very underrated. One of the best films of 2017, and number 10 on my list. Alright, moving on to number 9. We have Thor Ragnarok, directed by Taika Waititi. Fantastic, fun film. One of the best, funnest movies in the MCU. A lot of people would say the best of the Thor franchise. Although I still like the first one a lot. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, great as Thor. Loved Kate Blanchett as his sister, just chewing up scenery. Fantastic. Tom Hiddleston, great as well as Loki. Got a great appearance by Hulk, of course, Mark Ruffalo. Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster. Really a fun movie, full of great action. Just a great thrill ride from start to finish. Great supporting cast, people like Idris Elba, Anthony Hopkins, Tessa Thompson. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok was a load of fun and one of the best movies in the MCU. And number 9 on my list. Alright guys, moving on to number 8. Up next we have Darkest Hour. Great film directed by Joe Wright, starring Gary Oldman, of course, as Winston Churchill. During the early stages of World War II. Fantastic Oscar-winning performance, obviously, by Gary Oldman, who's been a great actor for decades now, and he finally got his Best Actor Oscar. I was very happy for him, obviously, because I'm a huge fan of Winston Churchill and what he stood for and what he did for England during the war. He's a favorite icon of mine, and I'm a huge fan of World War II history. And sort of Churchill symbolizes that for me as a proud Englishman. So I was really thrilled for Gary Oldman. Yeah, just a great performance. Sort of disappears into the makeup and the mannerisms. Really great performance by Oldman. Kristen Scott Thomas and Lily James, also fan of especially Lily James. Great in the movie as well. Yeah, it sort of deals with Churchill and his decisions leading up to the Battle of Dunkirk. So this makes a great companion piece to that film with that title, which I'll get to eventually in this list. Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, which came out the same year. But these two go great together. Darkest Hour, I thought it was a fantastic film for obvious reasons, and Gary Oldman was just fantastic. Number 8 on my list. Alright, up next at number 7, controversial film, but a good movie, I thought, and that is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, written and directed by Martin McDonagh. Again, great Oscar-winning performance by Frances McDormand as this woman who challenges the local police authorities in her town for not solving the murder of her daughter. Woody Harrelson is great as the sheriff. Uh, Another great Oscar-winning performance by Sam Rockwell, who you can always count on in movies. Really great actor. I really enjoyed him in Jojo Rabbit, which I saw a couple weeks ago. Again, directed by Taika Waititi. Really enjoyed that film from last year. Yeah, just fantastic cast, great performances. I know this film got a lot of slack when it came out for racial stereotypes and the like. I loved the ending too. I thought the ending was perfect. Really well made drama with three great performances. Three Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri at where are we? Number 7. Alright, moving on to number 6. We have War for the Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves. Of course, Andy Serkis, great as Caesar in these Planet of the Apes films. Now, I've enjoyed the other Planet films, especially the first one I like a lot, like James Franco in that film. But War for the Planet of the Apes really took it up a notch, I thought. I thought it was the culmination of the whole story. Fantastic action, great, it felt like a war movie. It had a lot of similarities to The Great Escape, which is a personal favorite of mine. Woody Harrelson's performance in this as well is just fantastic. He's great as this leader of the sort of human resistance, imprisoning all these apes, and Caesar has to go travel to rescue sort of his kin. Yeah, the action scenes are great. The tension. I loved everything about this film. I think it's the best of the three Planet of the Apes films, and it was kind of a surprise to me because I was a little bit down on the second one, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But I thought War for the Planet of the Apes was a fantastic film, and number 6 on my list. All right, moving on to number 5. I know I'm in the minority on this film, but I loved it when I first saw it, and that is Downsizing, written and directed by Alexander Payne, starring Matt Damon and Kristen Wiig. Yeah, really fun, interesting social satire. I thought this great concept of the idea that you can shrink to like 5 inches small to sort of cut on the cost of living. Basically, you get shrunken down to this tiny size, move into this little built community that also houses people who are also been shrunken down, and it completely cuts your cost of living, and those people who are not doing as well as regular sized human adults get to live in wealth, basically, in this new tiny size. I thought it was a great concept. I loved that Matt Damon and Kristen Wiig go in this together, and then at the final moment, Kristen Wiig backs out, leaving Matt Damon by himself. Really good supporting cast. Christoph Waltz is great. The young woman who I think got nominated for like a Golden Globe or something, that Matt Damon befriends, something Wong is her name. I don't know it offhand. I thought her performance was great. Yeah, this film didn't do very well. It kind of got critically panned. I know I'm in the minority on this one, but I really enjoyed Downsizing. One of my favorite films of 2017, and number 5 on my list. Alright guys, moving on to number 4 on my list, and that is Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins, of course, starring Gal Gadot. Fantastic performance by her. I thought this basically the pinnacle of the DC superhero films that we've had so far. It delivered on the promise that Wonder Woman's appearance in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. She was the best part of that movie, and I was really looking forward to Wonder Woman, and it did not disappoint. The ending I have issues with, like most people, sort of your typical flying around, flying garbage, dark action scene. But all the stuff up to that was just fantastic. Chris Pine was fantastic as the American pilot who stumbles upon Themyscira and these Amazonian warriors, and they're thrust into the throes of World War I, which is a great setting for this film. My probably favorite movie moment of 2017 is the No Man's Land scene when she just climbs up above the trenches and um, takes on the German forces. And the music in that scene, I have that sort of highlighted in my iTunes, in my film score uh, iTunes playlist that I have. I just love the music that goes along with that, and then the sort of the fight in the French town that follows that scene as well. Yeah, I just loved everything about Wonder Woman. Really good villains, people like Danny Houston and David Toulis. Always enjoy watching those two. Um, Also, a great fish out of water story. Gal Gadot is surprisingly funny and really charming in those scenes when she goes to London at first, and um, I forget the character name that Chris Pine plays. But yeah, those scenes are really great, and she's just really wonderful from start to finish. Really looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984. Of course, got pushed back, obviously for because of coronavirus. But yeah, great character, and really the highlight of what uh, DC has done with their superhero um, IP. Wonder Woman, one of my favorite films of 2017, and number 4 on my list. All right, up next at number 3, another fantastic film, great female lead performance, and that is I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie as Tonya Harding, of course, her rise to stardom and her downfall prior to the 1994 Winter Olympics at Lillehammer. I had just moved to the U.S. in '92, and I'd always been an Olympics fan, a young Olympics fan at that point. I was like 14 when we moved. And of course, her um, rivalry with Nancy Kerrigan, of course, culminating with basically her boyfriend and bodyguard, whatever happened, taking a club to Nancy's knee at the U.S. Nationals, I think it was. Um, and that whole controversy and tabloid um, coverage that whole incident got, and really blew up at the Olympics as well. Fantastic performance by Allison Janney. I've always been a big, huge fan of hers. She's a great actress, really funny. Yeah, great Oscar-winning performance by her as Tanya's mother. Margot Robbie, really enjoyed her ever since The Wolf of Wall Street. Still haven't seen Birds of Prey yet. I'm looking forward to watching that. But yeah, I thought it was great. If you know the history of this story, and I'm not a ice skating fan by any means, but it's a great story. Great tabloid fodder back in the mid '90s, that's for sure. And I, Tonya captured that time and 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 those people perfectly, I thought. Sebastian Stan also great as Jeff Gillooly, her boyfriend. So that is I, Tonya at number 3. Alright guys, moving on to my final 2. At number 2 we have the aforementioned Dunkirk, written and directed by Christopher Nolan. Like I said, a great companion piece to Darkest Hour. Of course, this great epic film dealing with the rescue of over 400,000 Allied soldiers comprised of English, French, and Belgium. Um, yeah, beautiful looking movie. Really great eerie score, I thought. Really showed the sort of immense scope of what was happening on those beaches as these soldiers were trapped by the German army. Yeah, good supporting cast. People like Mark Rylance and Tom Hardy. I thought was good as a pilot in the film. Yeah, definitely one of Christopher Nolan's best films. Not my favorite by him. I still think Inception is probably my favorite Christopher Nolan film. But Dunkirk was fantastic. Loved the story. Loved how it looked. Just how it felt. 1917, which I watched about a month ago, sort of reminded me of it a little bit. And that'll be high on my list from last year, 2019. But Dunkirk, fantastic film. And number 2 on my list. Alright, last but not least, at number 1, my favorite film of 2017, and that is The Shape of Water. directed by Guillermo del Toro. Of course, this film won the Best Picture Oscar that year, and Del Toro won for Best Director. One of the few years in the past decade that I've actually gotten right as far as predicting which movie would win Best Picture. Over the last decade, it's kind of uncanny. Like the film I thought that would win Best Picture or was my favorite, not always the same in every case, but The Shape of Water was one of the few I got right. Um, yeah, I absolutely love this film. Beautiful, eerie, lovely movie. Sally Hawkins is fantastic as this deaf janitor working in this experimental lab in the 1960s, where they're studying a amphibious creature played by the great Doug Jones. Fantastic supporting cast: Octavia Spencer, Michael Shannon, great as always as the villain. Um, what's his name? Richard Jenkins, Michael Stuhlbarg. Always great to see those actors. Always fantastic. Yeah, just a beautiful, romantic, lovely movie from start to finish. My voice is going. Sorry about that. Great score by Alexandre Desplat as well. Yeah, just a gorgeous film from start to finish. I loved it, and it was my favorite film of that year. The Shape of Water, my favorite film of 2017. So that is my list, my top 10 films of 2017. Let me know what your list is. If you agree or disagree with any of my choices, they usually are. And stuff I left off, I mean, I have lots of honorable mentions that I didn't get to. Um, but yeah, I liked a lot of films from 2017. But these were my 10 favorite. Thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you.
Bond. James Bond.